Hey guys, just doing an update on my vehicle situation here. I know probably some of you might give me might have some things to say in the comments, but I had to leave my Silverado and come back to a Toyota, and I'll explain why here. My Silverado suffered the valve body transmission issue, and I'd been having issues with the transmission for a while, probably for close to 4 weeks, and anyways, I had taken it into the dealer. Initially, they thought it was uneven tire wear. I said, okay. Kept driving it, and the transmission kept giving issues around 1700 to 2000 RPM. It would be vibrating and stuff, and got it in, and they finally looked at it and said, yeah, it's gonna need a valve body. It's on back order. And after sitting there for a couple of weeks, I need a truck, so I started looking around, and they also told me because of the strike that it was going to be longer than 4 weeks. So, for me, I've had a Silverado in the past. I had transmission problems, and I kept that truck for years and had to replace the transmission in it after it was paid off and stuff. So for me, I just figured I'm gonna cut my losses here, and if you've been following along, I've went from a Tundra, tried the Ford, now the Silverado, and after trying them all, now I'm going back to the Tundra. I did have some, I had some criticisms of the Tundra, the new Tundra, but overall, when I think about my experience with all these vehicles, I think the Tundra's been my favorite overall, and just a vehicle that gets you from point A to point B. And for me, I guess the best way I can describe it is it's like being home is what it feels like for me, being in a Toyota again. I love the steering wheel and the gear shift. That was something I really didn't like with the Silverado, was that electronic gear shift. I wish they didn't do that. I wish they still had the column shift, or had more of an actual shift, not that electronic shift. For me, that was something I didn't really like, and I was super happy that I was able to get into an SR5 Army Green Tundra again. It's my favorite color out there, and they're discontinuing it for next year. So, deep down inside, I think I've said it before, I am a Toyota fan, and I'm glad to be back in a Toyota. They're all good trucks. I've tried pretty much all of them except the Ram. I've test driven it and stuff, but they all have their own flavor and stuff, and it's what you like, and what you're looking for in a truck. And the Chevy had things that were definitely better than the Toyota, and same with the Ford versus the other two. And you really just have to go out there and try them all, or test drive them all, or in my case, own each one for a bit, and go with what you're happy with. For me, I kept the Toyota longest. I put the most miles on the Toyota out of the times I'd owned these stuff, and I put the Toyota through. I put the Tundra through a similar amount of towing, and when I had it last season, and I never had any issues with the Tundra, mechanically speaking. Like, I never had any issues with the transmission or the engine, and I put 30,000 kilometers on it. And I towed a lot with it. I off-roaded a little bit with it too, and I idled with the truck quite a bit too. And not an issue like this. Some of the issues I had, which are very common issues with the new Tundra, was I had the seat cracking, you know, the shroud or whatever they call it that goes around the seat cover. I'll show you guys. I had that crack on my 22. I'm not sure if they fixed it or yet not, but I'm not worried about that. I know Toyota's actively working for a fix. I'll probably put a recall out at some point for that. To me, that, you know, it does speak to the changes in Toyota, but from what I've watched, they tried to do as much weight savings as they could, and this was probably an area where they tried to save weight for sure, and backfired on them potentially, right? And with this new Tundra, like, this all seems super tight compared to my 22. Same with the same on the other side. So for me, yeah, it feels like home being back in a Toyota. The diesel was great and all that. It wasn't the diesel engine that gave me issues. It was the transmission. Apparently that valve body issue is a common issue for the 10-speed. And the weird thing is, if you look it up on the internet, at least me looking it up, I could find nothing on the internet. I have to check the Facebook forums, and you can find some stuff. There's a couple of people on there on the 3-liter diesel forum or the Trail Boss owners forum that talk about having the valve body replaced and having to wait several weeks to get their parts. And so to me, it's you know, it's one of those things where I'm not going down that road again with GM products. I've been down that road with their transmissions, and you know, it's you know, I hope it's something that they address, or you know, I hope people who have them don't have to deal with that. And to be without your vehicle for weeks on end is, you know, if you love it, it's not a big deal. But for me, it's not that I didn't love it, but I guess I didn't love it that much. I wasn't going to put up with it. Wasn't going to wait over 5 weeks for that. And not when I'm paying the money I'm paying to own that truck. So I figured I would come back to the Tundra and do what I need to do and be happy with it. And to be full disclosure, guys, when I was shopping for the Silverado, I was going to go back to a Toyota, but it was a 3-month wait for the Army Green, and I was impatient, and I thought I'll try the Chevy, and you know, it'll probably be a good experience. And overall, I would say it was pretty good. But you know, hindsight's 2020, and looking back, I should have just waited the 3 months and came back to a Toyota, and that would have been that. So yeah, I came back to the Tundra, and you know, nothing to really complain about. I can say one thing for sure, that this 23 build, which is a later build, I think it was built in August, it feels a lot more solid than the 22 I had. You know, there's less creaks, less rattles in this one, and obviously I think it's because they've been building the truck long enough now that they're getting it down pat. They've also had people complaining about certain things, so I think, you know, I watched a video recently where they were talking to the new chief engineer, and he said, yeah, like, we watch this stuff, we're trying to actively work to address these issues, and it takes time, they're complex, you know, and they need to validate all these things first. So to me, that's a good thing, and you know, it's a sign that they're paying attention and all that, and gives me more peace of mind, you know. And that's the thing, when I compare the issues I had with my Toyota that I didn't like to Silverado or the Ford, it was it was more aesthetic things, you know. Like I would have issues with the infotainment here, with the screen or the connectivity. Or I'd have issues when this window would be wet and you hit the auto up or down, it would skip. And then the seat cracking or the window moldings. So, I mean, to me, like, yeah, those were a little annoying, right? Especially when you expect more from Toyota. But then at the same time, if you're realistic about it and you realize like it's totally a brand new truck, and if those are some of the issues they're having, then, you know, I can put up with that. I mean, I know there was people who had the turbo issues, the wastegate issues, and all that kind of stuff. So that would totally change your experience. But I can only go based off of my experiences, right? And to each their own. And for me, when I had my 22, it was mechanically, it was solid, it was sound, and gave me confidence to come back. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's the update I want to give you. You know, I know you guys might have comments. If you have questions why, or are wondering other things about my experience that I forgot to talk about here, like about the Silverado or about this truck or what I think about them, feel free to ask. There was pros and cons to all these trucks, and to the Trail Boss. In my opinion, I felt like the Trail Boss handled the load that I towed better and could keep it more controlled, going at higher speeds when you need to pass, slow semi trucks or slow cars or whatever. So I know that's something that, coming back to the Toyota, it's not the end of the world for me. I towed a lot with it and I figured it out, right? But for me, with hunting season going on right now and being without a truck and being given a minivan as a rental is just not acceptable for me. It's like, I'm not saying that the dealer wasn't looking after me. They do their best, but I'm not, for me personally, I'm not satisfied paying that much money to be put in a minivan and be told that they don't know when the fix is going to come. So, and I know that can happen with Toyotas as well, with all the stuff that's going on with the supply chain these days. But, here's hoping that's not going to happen. And, this truck is identical to the last one I had, and it feels good to be back in a Toyota, and specifically the Tundra for me. The Tacoma is just too small for me, but, I love the interior here. I love this layout. Love this gear shift, steering wheel and all that, the feel of it. And, that's that. If you have questions, put them down. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Bye.